$10 bag corn. I ain't playing with these coons anymore. So we got a little bit of a coon problem. On some feeders that they're just climbing right up the leg. So I'm gonna combine some methods and see if they work. This is 4-inch. This is just sorry. This is septic or sewer pipe. It's lighter, it's cheaper. So this is what I'm gonna go with. I have this, and then I have the white kind as well. As far as I can tell, they're very similar. It's you don't probably want to use Schedule 40 because it's gonna be pretty heavy. So I think it's gonna put a little more weight on your glue bonds and your pipe your pipe connections. So anyway, first I'm gonna do is cut this to 4 feet, 5 feet, just enough that it kind of goes down the leg. I'm just using your basic chop saw here. On the sewer pipe, make sure you don't use the end with the lip because you need the end that's the 4-inch end. So all of these are 4-inch pipe. I got 3 of them. Kind of give you an idea how big they are. They're not any exact set distance. I may actually cut these down because I'm a little bit worried that they are going to be too long and the pipe won't be able to rotate. The idea is that when the coons try to get up there, this just spins and they fall off and it's slick, so they can't get up the pipe itself. Then we're going to put some nails at the top. So if they do make it to the top, they got to get over the nails, which I don't know if that'll affect them or not, but it's cheap and easy to put on, so we're going to see if it helps. All right, so according to Google, the legs of the Moultrie feeder are 1 1/4 across. So what I did, try to show that, I just sketched out what 1 1/4 by 1 1/4 would look like. Then I measured across kind of see what it would take to be able to rotate this, and they come in about 2 3/4. So I made a 2-inch hole so that way it gives me a little bit of slack on both sides. So what you should see is that 1 1/4 being able to spin through this. These are just the cheap caps. These are like $4, and I tried to center drill them. One of them got perfectly centered, the other 2 are off a little bit, but they should still spin. So these are about $3 a piece. These hose clamps are a couple bucks a piece. You need 2 per cap. So these will clamp to the leg of the pipe like this, kind of opposite ends on these parts here, and that sets on top of it. It'll ride on these. It'll ride on these little parts here, and that's what will allow it to spin around like that. So one thing I need to make sure is that all of these are at least 2 inches so they can get around the pipe, the legs of the Moultrie, and they're going to be close. So it's actually 1 3/4, so that one's going to be close. I think I can make that work. That one's definitely going to work. I got different sizes. I wasn't really sure which one would be better. These smaller ones are going to be right at 1 3/4, so they're going to be really close. I may end up getting some more of these bigger ones. They're coming in right at 2 inches or a little less, but they're not shaped perfect, so I think they're supposed to be 2 inches. So these should work. I may grab a couple more just because where I'm going is it's tough to get out there. So when I get to my feeder, I'll actually glue these on at the feeder. I don't want to glue these on now. It'd be a lot easier to put this up the leg instead of trying to put the whole thing up the leg at once. So my plan right now is that when we get there, I'll use pipe glue to attach these on there like that. And I'm going to put the nails somewhere in here using just some epoxy, some glue, and try to get a ring of nails around the top of each one so that we can, if they can make it that far up, they at least got to go over some nails. I'm just using liquid nails. Epoxy would work too, but we're just going to see if we can make liquid nails work. Any left in here. Probably way too much for this, but we'll go with it. These are just basic roofing nails with a fat head so that I think I can get a little more contact. I may end up having to buy some more and some longer nails, but all I'm going to do is dip the head in and see if I can get this to adhere. Just leaving about an inch between each one. Obviously this is going to need a little while to dry, so I don't expect them to be climbing on this too soon. I may end up coming back with some longer nails, make it a little bit harder for them to get over it. I just don't have nails anymore. I use screws for everything, but these might adhere better with the fat. All right, so we've had a day to dry, and unfortunately, we're not getting great adhesion. Some of them are, and some of them, like this one, is doing nothing. That one's pretty good. That one's wiggly loose. That one's not bad. That one's not bad. These longer ones, though, they didn't stand a chance. So what I'm gonna do, unfortunately, I think I should have sanded this. If I'd have taken my time and sanded this one here's the worst. It was real dirty and sandy, so a lot of them didn't stick good at all. That one over there is just wiggly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try a new method. I'm gonna try to drill holes, and then I'm gonna come inside with these long ones from the inside and use epoxy to make them stay. Because I think epoxy, will dry a little better. I think it'll dry a little faster. So I've just got basic quick set epoxy, 5 minutes, and we're going to see if we can't come from the inside. We'll take these caps off. Luckily I hadn't glued these caps on, and then I can stick my hand in and come from the inside to push the nail out of the hole, and the epoxy from the inside. I need something just to get it to stay there for a second. For the 5 minutes it needs to dry. My new method, instead of duct tape, is hot glue. It seems to hold it in. I don't expect it to hold it in for good, but it'll hold it in while this hardens. So what I'm doing, just getting this on the head of the nail, coming in from underneath, pulling it up, and I'm just putting hot glue around the head of the nail. And it seems to hold. So before these raccoons get to these spinning nails at the top, they're gonna have to go through some barbed wire. So I'm gonna take 2 zip ties, just because I don't have long enough zip ties, and I'm gonna start zip tying sections of this onto this pipe. And I may put a screw in here just to keep it from sliding down. Not really sure yet how tight I'll be able to get it, but I want some of it loose, obviously, to make it harder for them to get over it, but some of it's going to have to be cinched on pretty tight. All right. Got about 4 wraps of barbed wire, maybe 5. We'll find this section here. Get it really tight. Move this down just a little. Do the same thing towards the bottom. Because I don't want it to just be one spot. I want it to move a little bit. I want it to be about a foot of barbed wire that they got to somehow maneuver through. Stand it up and see what it looks like. All right, at the bottom we got some barbed wire. I really wish this side would stick out a little more. I may put another zip tie on just to get it to come out a little further on both sides. And right now it seems like it's just pinched on these sides. So if I get one on this side, it might push it out a little towards the middle and help balance it out. But if they can get through the spinning barbed wire, then they've got spinning nails. Keep in mind this whole thing is going to be rotating on the leg. So if they get through all that, then they've probably earned it. The heads of the screws seem to be doing good. I'm not going to wiggle them a ton because that it's still setting. It's not solid just yet, but hopefully it's going to be good enough. We're going to go install them, see how it looks. Laying it down. Alright. Should I get over it? It'll spin. That's the idea. That's the tree helping.
Is that Tacticam a video one?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Alright, so I got $10 bag corn. I ain't playing with these coons anymore.